And I think sometimes can be a thing where a certain area can be difficult to find, so there's a tendency to want to ignore it. Don't ignore it. Just keep, if the hands are bothering you or you're intimidated by the head, simplify it down to basic shape of light and dark, and it'll be a lot easier to resolve. Come up a little bit more. And sometimes you'll see people do things like this as they're drawing. Basically, when they're doing their pencil like this, that's the way their eye is kind of working. They're kind of looking at a bunch of different areas in relation to one another within a very short period of time to try to see the relationship of things. It's not like a secret technique of the Da Vinci Code, how to draw things. Shadow over there. And probably, this cast shadow as it comes across the hair. Goes down and over. I think I'll get the shoulder reference in there as well. So I'm going to look at the angle of the shoulder against the chin. Point for the shoulder, overlap with the hair, meet the brow ridge. Alright. So I want to say there's my basic blocking. Okay. And maybe I should get more of that hair right there. So this is what can take sometimes, 15, 20 minutes or 3 to 4 hours. It really, like I say, it depends. But what I don't want you to do is to start doing things like this and that with value with wrench. Okay. So hello? Everybody listening? What's the first thing you do when the model gets back in the pose? No, you can play the model move. That's why my drawing's off. Now I'm going to look at my landmarks that I was checking over and over and over again, and help her get back into the pose based on that. So I'm going to look at this landmark of the chin against the brow ridge, which will help me tell the turn of her head, which is still good. Could you take your hair, it's on that other side, and just kind of do a little bit more? Yeah, and then have the hair over the ear. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so still works. And I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between an HB charcoal pencil and a B carbon pencil. One's a charcoal pencil, one's a carbon pencil. What's that? The carbon pencil will maintain a really nice, strong point for a long time. Charcoal pencil, usually, you can break the point really quick, but you can mix them together. So you get some of the attributes you can get with a graphite pencil, but unlike a graphite pencil, it won't really. If you try to draw over top of something that's drawn in graphite with charcoal, and you're not really, if you're just kind of haphazardly doing it. A lot of the graphite will repel some of the charcoal because the graphite's a metal. It's slick. So the carbon mix is a little bit better, a little more versatile than the.
So what did you block it out with then?
What's that?
What did you block it out with then?
BE carbon pencil. You could have just as easily done it with a HB charcoal pencil, or even a 2B charcoal pencil. I mean, there's no reason you can't do it with that as long as you're being light-handed. You're not like digging the charcoal into the paper. You know, I mean, technically you could do it with a 6B, but I recommend to everybody keep it with a lighter pencil because you might end up overdoing it, making everything too dark too soon. If you put too much weight on the pencil with the light pencil, you might score the paper. So either way it goes, you still have to think about the amount of pressure you're using. So anyway, I'm going to start by giving a general tone to my shadows, and I can tell from looking up there the shadows are a little bit darker than the middle value of the paper. You could just as easily start out with working your way from the lighter lights towards the middle tone, but if you haven't used this paper that much, or you've never used it, I think it's best to kind of gradually work your way towards that white pencil so you don't end up abusing the white pencil and using too much of it. So I see a shadow coming in there. Comes up. The same shadow here is also a part of that shadow, so I'm not going to separate with a hard line the side of that head. Shadow off of the nose. Shadow continues over into here, and most of the light I'm seeing here is either really dark halftone or there's some reflecting light. So yeah, don't do that. Don't make your pencil. You see the shadow here, which is a little different value than that, but right now I'm keeping it, like I say, just below the value of the paper to keep things manageable. And then I'll go back into that and adjust, accordingly based on what I'm seeing. And there are highlights on the hair because of the way the light's falling. But if I look really close and I squint my eyes, the light that's coming along this side of the head is much lighter than what's on the hair. So depending on how I work the values here and here that are a little darker than this area, I can make the tone of the paper actually seem lighter in the end. So I'm not going to jump to wanting to put highlights there, which kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about thinking about the range of the darks with the pencil first. With the charcoal pencil, I should say. And for the hair, I'm making my marks go in the direction of the hair, which kind of will suggest the strands without actually trying to draw each individual strand of hair. Over to this side. And I want to say this is the time in the drawing to be cautious, because as you start to mass in shadows, that's when it starts to kind of get really fun. And before you know it, you can get carried away with that and, overdo it. Even the shadow here that's in the light is a little darker than the tone of that paper.